stopping to take a photo for Instagram.
Right.
I mean, you literally froze. You just stopped fidgeting, maybe even stopped blinking for a second. You basically became a statue.
It's a really rare feeling, isn't it? We usually move through the world so fast, even when we're on vacation.
Yeah, always on the way to the next thing.
Exactly. The next viewpoint, the next cafe, to be stopped dead in your tracks by scenery.
Yeah.
That takes something really specific. It's almost like a physiological override.
That is the perfect phrase for it, a physiological override. And that whole concept, a living, thinking person being turned into a statue by a landscape, is the absolute heartbeat of the piece we're unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating work of poetry. It's called POLlACHI's Glory, an ode to Animali's embrace, or in the original Tamil, POLlACHI Pisam Perumai.
And this is such an interesting text because, on the surface, it could just look like a poetic travelogue.
Like a fancy travel brochure.
Right. It describes a specific region in Tamil Nadu in India. But once you start peeling back the layers, and we're going to peel back a few today, it's actually a map of an emotional transformation.
Okay.
The author, Jayasekaran, he takes us on a journey that isn't really measured in miles or kilometers. It's measured in how the human spirit just fundamentally changes as it ascends a mountain range.
And before we even get to the mountain, we have to talk about the author for just a second.
Oh, yeah, his credentials.
The source material lists them, and it is quite the alphabet soup. We're talking MA, BSc, BEd, PG, DIC, TA. This is a man of science, of arts, of education.
Which I think is a really crucial detail. It frames the whole discussion. You have this highly educated, probably very analytical person.
You'd think so.
Someone who spent a lifetime accumulating knowledge, degrees. He understands the world through, textbooks and data. But the whole premise of this poem is that when he steps into the embrace of Animali, all that academic rigor it takes a back seat.
It's the classic battle, right? The brain versus the heart.
And in this part of Tamil Nadu, the heart wins in a knockout. The intellect is completely disarmed by the geography.
So our mission today is to unpack this geography of emotion. We're not just looking at a map. We're looking at how places like POLlACHI, Animali, and Valparai, how they act as characters.
Active characters, not just backdrops. They actually change who we are.
Exactly.
Right. So let's start at the foundation. The poem opens with a very specific relationship between the town of POLlACHI and the Animali Hills.
The line is, Animali Ataravil POLlACHI. Now, my Tamil is just okay, but Ataravu feels like a pretty heavy word. It's more than just next to, right?
Oh, definitely. It translates to support, but even support in English can feel a little mechanical, like a pillar holding up a roof. Ataravu is much deeper than that.
How so?
It implies an embrace, a kind of nurturing protection. It's the sort of support a parent gives a child.
So it's personification right from the first line. POLlACHI isn't just a town sitting near a hill. It's a town being cradled by the mountain.
Precisely. And the geography dictates the atmosphere. Because POLlACHI rests in this Ataravu, this embrace, it changes the state of the people there. The poet says, POLlACHI vastil non ulasi.
Ulasi? I like that word. It means a joyful person, someone happy. But is he saying he went there to be happy?
See, that's the nuance of it. He doesn't say, I went to POLlACHI and I felt happy. He implies that within POLlACHI's blessing, his very identity becomes ulasi.
The location grants the identity?
Yes. You step into the town and the town says, you are now a joyful person. It's not a choice. It's an environmental imperative.
That's a powerful way to think about travel. Usually we feel like we bring our mood to the place.
Right. I'm stressed, so I'll go to the beach, but I'll still be stressed for 2 days.
Exactly. But this suggests the place imposes its mood on you right away.
It does. And the poem suggests this isn't just a local secret anymore. There's a line I found interesting about India's gaze. India vin no kirke ilakanan.
Ilaku is like a target or a goal.
Correct. He's saying this region has become the target, the focal point of India's gaze. It suggests POLlACHI has stepped into the national spotlight.
So it's gone from being maybe a local hub to a real destination.
A place that commands national attention.
That adds a layer of pressure, though, doesn't it? When a place becomes a target, you get crowds, commercialization. But he seems to think the charm is still there.
He does. And I think that's because the charm isn't man-made. It's elemental, which leads us right to the sensory experience.
Okay.
As we move through the poem, the wind starts to pick up.
Right. This is where we get to the Aliur Dam. The line is, Aliatrin Thendroluku POLlACHI. Now, thendril is a very specific kind of wind, isn't it? It's not a gale force.
No, absolutely not. In Tamil literature, thendril is the southern breeze. It's gentle, it's cooling, romantic. It's the kind of breeze poets write about.
And the key word for me there is ulagi.
Ulagi, yeah. It means submitting to or becoming subject to. He's submitting to that breeze from the Aliyar.
That feels like such a physical act of surrender. You know when you're near water and that cool air hits you, you just sort of let go?
Mm-hmm.
You stop fighting the heat, your shoulders drop.
That is the ulagi moment. He's letting the elements dictate his physical state. But what's fascinating is that right after this physical feeling of wind, he brings in the sensation of sound.
But not birds or water.
No, not nature.
Yeah.
He brings in the sound of the people, the reference to Kongu Tamil.
The poem says, Kongu Tamil Urayadal Solagi.
Yes.
For our listeners who might not know, why is mentioning Kongu Tamil so specific? Is it just a different accent?
It's so much more than an accent. It's a whole cultural vibe. The Kongu region, where POLlACHI is, has this very distinct dialect of Tamil. It's known for being incredibly respectful, almost melodic.
It's the polite Tamil, right? People joke that you can't sound angry speaking in Kongu Tamil.
Very much so. And the poet says this conversation that you write on, it becomes the soul, the actual word or vocabulary of his experience.
So the landscape isn't silent.
Not at all. The soundscape of that specific dialect, the rhythm of local people talking, is just as much a part of the beauty as the Aliyar Dam.
It's like the breeze and the language are weaving together. You can't separate the place from the voice of the place.
That's a great way to put it.
I think that's something we miss. You know, we go see the sights, but we listen to our own podcasts or music. He's saying, take off the headphones, listen.
Exactly. It's an immersive experience.
Yeah.
But now the poem shifts gears. We start climbing.
Things get a little more intense.
We leave the gentle breeze of Aliyar, and we start the ascent to Valparai. And here, the imagery goes from gentle to something almost aggressive.
Aggressive is the right word. This is one of my favorite lines in the whole thing because it's so unexpected. He describes Valparai as Manmatha Kaneku Villana.
Okay, let's unpack that. Manmatha is the Hindu god of love. He's sort of the equivalent of Cupid.
And Kanai is an arrow, and Villana means acting as the bow.
So you put it together. Valparai isn't just a pretty hill station. It is the bow from which the god of love shoots his arrows.
That is, wow. That's not just, oh, what a nice view. That is romantic danger. The landscape is actively trying to pierce your heart.
It suggests the beauty of Valparai isn't passive. It attacks you. It's a weaponized beauty that targets your emotions directly. And what happens when you're struck by this arrow? The poet describes a very physical reaction.
Yes, he uses those two great rhyming words, Jilagi and Polagi.
Jilagi is a fantastic word. It actually comes from the English word chill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's become part of vernacular Tamil.
Yeah.
So he's saying he became chill. He became chilled, cool.
Because Valparai is high up, it's cold, he's physically shivering.
But then right after, Polagi, Pal means tooth. Polagi means his teeth are showing.
He's grinning.
He's smiling so wide you can see his teeth. It's a total bodily takeover. The cold makes him shiver, Jilagi, and the joy makes him grin, Polagi.
I love that. You're freezing, but you can't stop smiling. It's that feeling of being just so vividly alive.
And that distinction, the different types of happiness, is something he actually explores further. He doesn't just say, I'm happy. He's almost like a sommelier of emotions.
I like that. A sommelier of emotions.
He starts categorizing the pleasure he's feeling.
Right. He differentiates between the crowd and the solitude. He mentions the Malakudam, the crowd of mountains giving Parambam.
Parambam, which means great pleasure or immense bliss. It's a massive collective feeling. But then he contrasts that with Monkey Falls.
Monkey Falls, Aruvinel Thanianbam.
Thanianbam, that's the key. Thani means private or unique or solitary.
So the waterfall offers a private pleasure. Even with other people there, the experience of the water feels like it's just for you.
Exactly. The mountain range gives you that grand, sweeping awe, Parambam. But the waterfall, that intimate interaction, gives you Thanianbam a unique, private joy. He's cataloging the different flavors of happiness.
And he adds one more to the list when he gets to Atakati.
Atakati. Another stop on the way up.
He calls it Panimuta Atakati, misty or foggy Atakati.
Yes. Pani is mist. Muta means it's covered in it. And he says, this gives Tharamam the pleasure that is given or bestowed.
So we have great pleasure from the mountains, private pleasure from the waterfall, and bestowed pleasure from the mist. It's like a menu.
It really is. And notice the progression. From the support of Animali to the breeze to the chill and now into the mist. We're getting deeper into the atmosphere. The deeper he goes, the less control he has.
It really feels like he's losing his agency. He starts as an observer, and now he's just a recipient. Which brings us to this section where things get a bit, well, criminal.
Criminal.
He starts talking about theft. He mentions Salai.
Right. He says it, aside Fenayu Supida. It stirs up desire, wakes up a longing.
And then comes the heist. Kolaida vaitiduse kachigalai.
Kolaida means to loop or to rob. He's saying nature's keeping these sites, these kachigalai, specifically to loot your heart.
The scenery is a thief. It's not just pretty. It's actively stealing your attention. It's a visual heist.
That changes the power dynamic completely. Usually as a tourist, you're the consumer. You consume the view. You take the photo.
You're in charge.
You're in charge. But here the poet says, no, I am being consumed. I am being robbed. The landscape is taking something from me. My attention, my heart, my resistance.
And this brings us right back to my opening thought. The statue. The poet has been supported, breezed upon, chilled, made to smile, and now robbed. And the final result is...
Silianin.
I became a statue.
This is the climax. Silai means statue. Silianin, I turned into a statue.
And look at the reason he gives. Iarkai and Bakosalino.
Because of the gift given by nature. The sheer faultless perfection of what he sees just renders him motionless.
And remember, this is the man with the MA, the BSc, the bed. He has all the words. He could analyze this geologically, botanically, but in the end...
He just stands there, frozen.
The intellect is silenced. The conversation stops. The degrees don't matter. He is just a statue witnessing the sublime.
It's a state of total surrender. In Zen, they might call it a state of complete absorption, where the observer and the observed become one. Here, he just calls it becoming a statue.
It's interesting because we usually see becoming a statue as a negative thing, like being paralyzed by fear. But here, it's the ultimate compliment to the land.
It is. It's the suspension of time. When you are a statue, you aren't worrying about the past or the future. You are just fixed in the present. You aren't doing. You're just being.
And the poem ends with this beautiful, kind of enigmatic question. He talks about a melted heart.
They get a manam, a mind or heart that has softened, that has yielded.
And he asks, Idusu Sara Esu Dilai.
What is the price to take and give this? Essentially, what currency could possibly equal this experience?
The heart has melted, the exchange has happened. What price tag do you put on that?
It's rhetorical, of course. There is no price. But I think it works on two levels. Literally, sure, the bus ticket is nothing compared to the feeling. But deeper, it's about commerce versus spirituality.
Yeah.
We talk about POLlACHI being a target for tourism. But the poet ends by transcending that. You can buy a ticket to Valparaiso, but the melting of the heart. That transaction is priceless. It can't be bought. It can only be experienced through surrender.
It's a beautiful arc. From a geographical fact, POLlACHI is near Animali to a spiritual transformation. He's become a statue with a melted heart.
And it's all triggered by the specific character of that land. It's a reminder that we're permeable. We think we're these solid entities moving through the world. But this poem argues we're soft. We're easily molded, sculpted, and frozen by the places we go.
Nature's sculptor. That's what Animali is here. It takes a human and sculpts them into a statue of joy.
Precisely. And it does it with such variety. It uses the chisel of the cold, the polish of the water, the veil of the mist, a master artist at work.
It makes me want to go there right now, but it also makes me look at my own local park a little differently. Am I letting it sculpt me? Or am I just walking through it?
That is the question. Are you submitting? Are you becoming Ulasi, joyful because of where you are? Or are you just fighting it, checking your phone?
You know, we often talk about conquering a mountain. We climbed it, we beat it.
The language of conquest. It's very ego-driven. Nature is an adversary.
But this poem is the exact opposite. He didn't conquer Animali. Animali conquered him. It looted him. It turned him into a statue.
And he's grateful for it. He's smiling POLlACHI in the middle of that surrender.
It really challenges how we tell our travel stories. We brag about what we did. I hiked this trail. Maybe the better story is what the place did to us.
I was robbed by the scenery. I was frozen by the mist. It's a much more humble and maybe more accurate way to describe awe.
So, to synthesize this, we have a highly educated observer who travels into Animali. He finds the town of POLlACHI is defined by the mountain's embrace. The wind and local dialect create a sensory blanket. He goes up to Valparaiso, where the beauty is like Cupid's arrow, physically forcing him to smile. He distinguishes between public awe and private joy. And finally, Overwhelmed by the visual height of the scenery, he becomes a statue with a melted heart, realizing the experience is priceless.
A perfect summary. It's a journey from credentials to stillness, from doing to just being.
So here's our final thought for you to chew on today. We live in a world obsessed with movement. We track our steps, our miles. We want to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. We travel to see things, sure. But how often do we travel with the intention of letting a place steal our ability to move?
When was the last time you stood still enough, for long enough, that you felt like you were part of the landscape itself?
When was the last time you let a mountain or a park or just a really beautiful tree turn you into a statue? Maybe the goal of your next trip shouldn't be to move, but to be stopped.
A beautiful challenge.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
See you next time.